Welcome to a beautiful weekend out here at the River House. I just got done proctoring the ACT, so it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon out here. It's been a little drizzly, but the weather report promised me that it would stop raining at 1. So it makes great sense that it's now snowing at 2. I don't know if I'll be able to drill or not. I really don't want to drag the cables around in the snow. But, you know, we'll see. I got a bunch of stuff to unload here. I got some new equipment that hopefully will make things like filming and drilling at least... Ooh. We got an angry osprey. It's calling. Hope the mate didn't get killed. It's a really haunting sound. Anyways, I'm going to get this stuff unloaded. I'll show you the things that hopefully will add some more reliability and enjoyment. You know, I do love spending money. I just wish it wasn't my own. On occasion, I've had rocks go places where I didn't want them to. And I promise you it has nothing to do with either operator error or setting up the camera, as the French would say, too damn close. But we've smoked a couple of tripods here, and while that's not a big loss, I get most of my tripods from yard sales, the cameras that were on top of them were. So at this point, bouncing rocks have taken out 2 of these cameras right here. Well, it took out this very one, and then I rebuilt it with parts from a camera that got smashed. And then it took out the replacement for this very one. So I've been telling myself that I need a decent heavy-duty tripod. And I inherited this from my grandfather when he passed. And it's just a generic heavy-duty tripod. If you recognize it, it's because I originally built the head on it to hold the transit. But I think I'm going to go with a laser building level that'll let me slope and range and all that. So I have repurposed it, and I put this metal plate on it right here, and then I purchased this ball head. It gives me a little more flexibility than I need, considering that the tripod is left and right, up, down, and all over, but whatever. I could pick up that really expensive and very smooth ball head for you know, under $50, and an equivalent tripod itself was, well, it was more than the camera I was going to put on it. So I like this, and it makes me happy that Grandpa's still taking care of me even after departing. And then I have built this thing, which we're calling the shoe. So I've changed up how we handle the dust, okay, to deal with the silica. And I built this very tight, close little sucker doodad, and it pulls 100% of the rock cuttings out of the hole. Now that's nice, and it leaves a nice fine surface, but it's been pretty hellish on the vacuum cleaners, and it just, you know, my little dust settling box was being overwhelmed. I got a dust deputy and built that, and it's overwhelmed. And I finally decided that it's because I'm sucking up 100% of the rock dust. I don't need to do that. I just need to capture the floaties. So this is what I have built. First off, it has a full 2-inch line rather than the garden hose. And I hope that the dust deputy will work better because it'll have more swirlies. And second, I have it remote. I have it removed back. The vast majority of the rock dust is going to stay right there. This is only going to capture the floaties, the stuff that would get into your lungs. And then when I'm done, I just use the toe of my boot and I scoot it off to the side. Then I plunge and vacuum out the hole. So I'll be vacuuming out, I don't know, maybe 1/10 of the rock dust. I mean, not quite that much. 1/5, 1/6 of the rock dust. So I hope that the filters and whatnot will simply last longer regardless of whatever pre-filtration I'm using. I also picked up a set of these 3M work tunes. I sprung for the slightly higher quality version. You know, if you've seen me, and I know I've said this before, but I basically just, you know, when I'm up here working by myself, I just run audiobooks. And I've been putting earbuds in and headphones over the top, which kind of crams them in my ears. And I've had, you know, you can't wear earbuds for like 8 hours straight and not get some squishies in your ears. And so, you know, I thought I'd get one of these bundled earmuffs and Bluetooth. Has a much larger battery capacity, and then I won't have problems with it trying to yank out when I turn my head. I'm a little concerned they might be a bit overboard because they muffle a lot more than the cheap Harbor Freight red ones I've been using. You know, I don't deal with super high volume problems. I don't deal with high frequency problems. It's you just need to muffle the roar, and the Harbor Freight's ones have always let me kind of hear around it, so I don't get snuck up on. But these they're quite a bit better. We'll see. I'm a little worried. Isn't that ironic? I'm a little worried that they might be too nice, but I'll let you know if I like them and how well they work. I picked up this little doodad here. It was like a $9 add-on. It is essentially a kitchen timer that you can mount your camera to. And so you set up, this happens to be the time-lapse camera. So you set up the time-lapse camera and then you ring, and over the course of 2 hours it'll spin itself back around. I don't know, I just thought that might be fun. What else I got? I got a big roll of heat shrink, but I'm only going to tell you what that's for if it works. So yeah, that's what I've got going. I can see the winter wonderland is at least slowing down out there. You know, I can tell from the tracks in the driveway that my friends came, and it may or may not have removed my Fozzie Bear problem, but to be honest, it's not going to bother me when I'm running a rock drill. It might bother me if I walk down there, but I'll be fine, even if they didn't give Fozzie a headache. But yeah, I'm gonna set up and make up some cables. I don't have too many to make, but I'll set up and make some cables. I'll give some time for that water to run off the hill, and then hopefully we can get up there and do some drilling. Ah, crap. Smoke means a blowout. It's cool looking though. I didn't get the button. But what do we see? Ooh, we see it broke all the way up into here. Nice. So I can probably do 1, 2, 3, 4 and break that whole chunk off. Must be quite an accident out there. That's, I don't know, 5th or 6th emergency vehicle to go by. So hopefully, whoever it is going to be okay. If the other ambulance goes out, we know it's bad. We only have the 2. Alright. 4 more holes, and I think we'll call it a night. I don't know if that did anything. Oh no, we did well. I was worried I pushed the spacing too far on that one, but I can see I didn't. I broke all that loose, and I clearly broke that loose up into there. So all of this now will come out. Boom. All of this. How far down it's going to go down there, I'm not sure. That's hard as hell right over there. It resists blasting every single time. But if I have to, I can lift the house and go over the top of it. So I got a point of it over there. It's got to come off. And you're very clearly getting all fogged up. It is not this foggy. Ooh. But it does seem to highlight my deeper, softer side. But yeah, tomorrow the goal will be to start back down there and go all the way back up, and then if I have time, up a second time. I don't know if I'll have time. Oh, I skipped lunch. I'm pretty hungry. I think I'm going to pick up and go in, because I still got to make all new trigger cords again, so I have enough for tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to be here for a while, but I'll see you tomorrow. And we're back. A little colder and a little bit of snow, also a little bit of inconvenience. Starter motor in that thing has decided this would be the perfect time to not work anymore. So guess who get to put a starter motor in laying on his back in the mud? That's right, it's this guy. We're gonna come up here and I think just gonna focus on blasting. You know, I think some of our problems come from just not blasting enough before I try to pick at it. So I thought I'd give an experiment where I rectify that. Excavator's expensive, blasting's pretty cheap. So I'm gonna come in here. I wanted to shovel out all this mud, but it's frozen right now. I probably drill through it. But I'm gonna work my way up and around. So yesterday and the day before, I was working on this crack line right in through here. And we got her pretty broken up. At least up into that location right there. Whew. Frost castles. Pretty. Now I'm gonna move over. This stuff was super hard. I have not yet put a drill in this material over here. So I don't know how hard that's gonna be, how well it's gonna blast. The first couple of shots will give me some answers, and then if it looks like it's moving pretty well, I step my holes farther apart and farther back. If it looks like it's not working, obviously I move them closer together. Cool. All right, this is the new biggest pop. I mean, at some point I gotta start tripping breakers, but this is 6 holes. 6 holes, 1 shot. Well, it sounded good. Sounded real good. Well, that's what I mean by this crap is hard. I'm not 100% sure that hole fired. If it did, it blew out somewhere deep underneath. So I can see a small crack line going up here, but I don't know if that can be trusted at all to have actually cracked anything. I think I'm going to do 4 in a row right here. Chaps my hide because they'll be so close together, but it'll have a hell of a lot of power, and maybe I can roll that forward. Ah, dang it. If this whole sheet's going to break like that, we are going to batter our heads against this for a long time. But what else do you do? Okay, this is 4 holes, and they're loaded a little extra heavy. See if I can break out that chunk of rock so that I have something I can work with. Ah, this rock is hard. Well, I'll go see what I did. Well, we won't know precisely what it did until I pick at it with the excavator. But it doesn't appear to be much. At least there's not a lot of surface fracturing. Now this is what it did right down there along that line. And what it eventually turned out to be is it was all fairly shattered down in there, but it was so tight together, it was brutal getting it back out of the hole. I don't see anything going back down that way. But I'll come up here and I'll do 4 more along there and see if I can roll that back. I'd like to break up a whole bunch before I bring the excavator in, because every time I go and scrape at it, I bury all this stuff, and the act of unburying it is it's a real back-breaking sort of process. But I need to be able to see the rock to see the cracks, you know, because I'm not working with a lot of explosives, so I have to be fairly strategic. But we'll see. We'll come up and do, maybe just stick with 4, and I'll do 4 along that line and see if I can roll it in, and then 4 along here and roll it in. I know this is all loose, so I should be able to roll it going all the way up there. We'll find out. Got a little crazy. So I wasn't going to scratch at it until I'd done more, but we've had some really deep explosions, and the last thing I want to do is be drilling and blasting rock that's already loose. So what this means is when I'm done, and I'm just going to dump it all down in that hole and scoop it out later. So when I'm done, I'll have to come back and re-clean this rock shelf, but that's life. Them's the breaks. So we're going to bring the excavator up and give it a try.
Well, we sure got a heck of a lot less done than I would have liked. Apparently nothing I did to this ledge had a damn bit of effect on it. And you can see all the holes in it. Not a bit. We broke this ledge back, but not as successfully as I would have hoped. Although I do believe I said this crap was hard. So I drove the machine down in and actually had it sitting over there for at least a while so that I could pull directly sideways. I got a lot of that down, but none of that was from me blasting. That was just loose rock. So we gotta blast that down level. We come across, take this, come back through here and take that, and then I need to work on that sheet right over there. I got a bunch up there taken out too. So I mean, it's not a failure. It's just not as successful as we like. And I started to rip off a bucket tooth. You know, I've said it over and over and over again that I was afraid I was being too hard on the machine, and yeah, I was being too hard on the machine. I got it shoved into the dirt right now, so I can't show you. But of course, it's the right-hand tooth as I look at the bucket, which is the one I use the most. And I haven't ripped it out of place yet, but I've got a good-sized crack going down, I don't know, 2-3 inches, something like that. And who knows how far down underneath the mud. You know, I can load up my big welder. It's still kind of a joke, but I can load up the big welder, and I can hook into power where the pump is, the water pump is. So I'll just have to, you know, that's the kind of thing I can do after dark, after school. You know, drive the machine all the way down there, and I'm gonna have to grind it out, right? Find the end of it, and then build it up with that welder. It's a pretty small welder, so I'll have to be. Won't have much of a duty cycle. I'll have to be careful with it, but you know, over a couple of hours, I can probably build it back. Hey, it'll take that long just to grind it out, I'm sure. And I managed to shovel up as much of the sticky clay that was covering that sheet as possible. Dump it there. I never should have scratched. I should have just left it alone and just kept blasting. But I wouldn't have known that I hadn't touched these two sheets. I wouldn't have known that they'd taken all of that blasting and just sort of given me the finger. So I'd have been back in here on those anyways. So I can blast this exposed sheet loose, and I can blast that exposed sheet loose, and go up and clean out that corner up there, and then I can start on this one and then dig out that. That's really hard. There's a sheet right along this edge that's got to come out. Got a bunch of it. So thanks for watching.